All right, and we are live again. Miro, welcome to the BSC News live stream.
Guys, thanks for having me back. I think this is my third or fourth time with you guys.
Yeah, I think we've done 3 podcasts, so this would be number 4.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Always love being on the show.
Yeah, this is sick. Get some insight with one of the BSC OGs we've been working with for a while now.
Yeah, man. Tomorrow is our 6-month anniversary, and fuel emissions are officially over tomorrow.
Wow.
It's amazing that we've made it this far. You know, going from a tiny little project that we started back in December, and now we have a completely built out ecosystem with yield farming vaults, staking, a launch pad, lending, our own AMM, and soon to be NFT marketplace. So, you know, things have been crazy these last 6 months.
Yeah, I have your current roadmap pulled up on your docs, and you got a lot checked off here. You want to just touch on some of the things that are going to be coming out in the future, what you guys are kind of focused on?
Yeah, for sure. So we have pretty much hit everything we wanted to hit, because the goal when we started was to build like a one-stop shop for DeFi, because we saw that the market was like fairly fragmented, where you could do yield farming in one site, you could do lending in a different one, and vaults somewhere else. So our goal was to combine that in one ecosystem where it was safe, it was audited, and people could make pretty good returns. So moving forward, for JetSwap, JetSwap is our newest product that came out back on May 20th. We have some lotters coming out for Wings and GeForce. So GeForce will be a LP lottery where you can actually win LP tokens. We're almost done the auto compounding vaults that we're going to be boosting with the Wings token. So people will get some crazy returns there. And we're working with Billion Happiness to implement a NFT marketplace and Minter, and you'll be able to pay with the Wings token, which I think people will be pretty excited for. A stats page is coming up, voting, of course, and the big thing we're excited for is trying to implement lending and borrowing with Fortress, so maybe some leveraged yield farming.
Gotcha. That sounds super exciting. Yeah, it's been incredible to kind of watch this ecosystem build out, starting with the yield optimizers and the fuel token, and kind of just looping back around to the emissions cutting off. So now fuel will be completely deflationary, right, on that transaction burn?
100% deflationary, yeah. So looks like we'll have about 126,000 fuel tokens. And after that, it'll just be going down every single transfer.
That is pretty nutty. I actually have been waiting for that personally. And so people know they can still earn with their fuel tokens, but just on JetSwap instead of JetFuel. Correct.
Yeah. So the fuel token, you can earn a pretty decent APR at JetSwap with the fuel BNB LP. Or you can turn your fuel into Jets, and then Jets will earn you at least 5 income streams, whether it's from the passive income from that 1% staking fee, to the vault income, to Fortress income. There's so many ways to earn with the Jets token.
That's awesome. I wanted to ask you, with the vaults that you're going to boost with Wings, do you have a time frame on that? I always have to ask. I ask every developer I can when they're gonna have things,
I think we're pretty much like done building them. The thing that's gonna take the longest is just linking the vault contracts to the UI. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some boosted vaults launching in 2 to 3 weeks.
And will those vaults be on JetSwap?
Correct. Yeah, correct. Okay. JetSwap.
Yeah, and kind of just staying on the topic of JetSwap and Wings here. I remember earlier on, I was trying to dive into the tokenomics of it a little bit, and it didn't look like you guys had too much on there. What is kind of the plan for that, for cutting emissions and all that kind of good stuff?
Yeah, so currently 2,880 wings are automatically burned every day, regardless of what happens. And about every 3 or 4 days, we're going to be burning a large portion of our dev wallet. So far we've burned over 200,000 wings, which is about 20% of the supply. And our goal is to build out features for JetSwap where there's always gonna be burning. So NFTs is a place where we can see wings are burning. The leverage trading, we can see wings burning. Maybe some special staking pools, we can implement some burns there. But basically, the goal is to have the burns outpace the inflation, which I think we can probably get there in 2 or 3 months.
Definitely, and that's like the winning plan or the challenge for almost every AMM, right? And we've seen some, like ApeSwap has had extreme success with their NFTs, and I think that'll be pretty cool to see that marketplace get put out, because that seems to grab a lot of attention there, especially if there's a burn incorporated in that.
Yeah, for sure. ApeSwap's NFTs are pretty cool. They ended up forking, I think, was it Cyberpunk NFTs, and then I think they only released 1,000. So people definitely like them and they want them. So that's why we think NFTs is going to be the next big thing for JetSwap.
Yeah, and it definitely kind of just bundles up the ecosystem.
Yeah, for sure. And we could also potentially see special NFTs being able to be staked to earn wings too, similar to what Bakery Swap's doing. So we could have some high value auctions for these NFTs, and then you can stake them and actually earn money from your NFT.
Gotcha. Yeah, sort of start to incorporate this NFT fi. I really like those concepts, because especially if you can get some cool artwork on those and it's somewhat of a productive asset, like I'm all gung ho for that kind of stuff.
For sure.
And do you have any future plans for Fortress?
Of course. Fortress. We're currently talking with the top Oracle and price feed providers right now. So we can actually implement the FTS token as an asset for Fortress. That means you can supply it, borrow against it, things like that. But on the roadmap for Fortress, we are going to be making Fortress into a rate modification token. So basically what that means is you'll be able to spend your FTS tokens, and when you spend them, they'll be burnt. And you'll be able to increase your APY from supplying, and you'll be able to decrease your APR when you're borrowing. So let's say you're supplying BNB and you're earning 5% native BNB. You can burn your FTS tokens to bump that to maybe 5.5%. So you can instantly bump your yield. And then on the flip side, if you're borrowing BTCB against that BNB and you're paying, let's say 7%, you can spend that FTS token to maybe drop that to 6.5%. So where the investor might not really see value in earning the FTS token, they can use that token to increase their yield or decrease their borrowing costs, which hasn't been done yet before.
No, I like that a lot. And also wanted to know, and I think I've asked you this in the past, just when you and I were talking, which is with the FAI, FAI.
Yeah.
A feature that I love about it is that, and I'm getting into the app right now also, is that I could essentially borrow it for free. And not essentially, I can borrow it for free. And I was wondering if that was ever going to change, if you're going to pull FTS into that. And I think you alluded to possibly changing that, but I wasn't sure if you guys had a plan on that.
Yeah. So, when you release a brand new stable coin and there's not much support in the market, it can lose its peg fairly quickly. So we're taking FAI very slowly. We want to be able to ensure that once we roll it out, that it'll be able to maintain the peg. So for now, you can simply use FAI as a way to earn more FTS tokens.
And can you get into that, how you maintain the peg with it? What goes into it?
It's kind of complicated, and we don't have our plan fully fleshed out yet. But we can definitely share those details later on down the road when it is done.
Definitely. And kind of just looping back here, you're talking about the Oracle and using FTS as on the lending and borrowing platform. you're talking about how you're kind of going slow with this as well. Is this similar to sort of like the issues Venus has been having recently? I thought I saw a tweet, and I'm not too familiar with the situation there.
Yeah. So what happened with Venus was XVS was listed as an asset where you can use it as collateral, and they had voted to increase the collateral factor from 60% to 80% for XVS, which basically means that if you supply $1,000 worth of XVS, you can borrow up to $800 against it.
That seems really high.
So the market just was not big enough for that, I take it.
And most of the supply for the Venus token was locked up, whether it was staking on Venus or it just wasn't really being used. So it was really easy to manipulate that price from like $80 to like $140. So what somebody did was they supplied a large amount of XVS, pumped the price to like 140, borrowed against it, and then the price tanked from like 140 to like 50 or like whatever. Their collateral, which was the XVS, got taken, and so then they walked away with like $70 million of BTCB and ETH. So we are planning to make the collateral factor for FTS either 0 or 10%, so that situation won't happen to the protocol where they basically just milked it for millions of dollars.
Gotcha. Yeah. So you guys are just kind of taking that slow, trying to learn from that mistake there. I like that.
Yeah. Safety's paramount. You're seeing flash loans every day that are just ripping these protocols apart. So we would rather move slowly and safely to ensure that nothing bad happens.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk to you about some of those safety things, not in relation to JetFuel, but just the market in general. Because obviously you've been in BSC since the beginning. And like with flash loans, I think for most people probably don't understand the ins and outs of it. And is there something that protects them from flash loans on JetFuel, or what makes it so obviously not that difficult on other projects, right? Like what is it about it?
So essentially the way a flash loan works is, you can go to PCS or Uniswap or, wherever, and you're able to essentially borrow the entire liquidity from that pool in one transaction as long as you can pay it back. And a lot of these projects that have been attacked because they have poorly built oracles or no oracles securing the price feeds, or they have unique minting features where the tokens are minted based on external events, not on a master farming logic, or they have unique burning features. So what keeps JetFuel safe and JetSwap and Fortress is one, we have very secure oracles backed by Band. Band's been able to secure billions and billions of dollars worth of assets with pretty much no incidents. All of our tokens are minted based on the master farms logic. So regardless of what happens to that contract, it'll always be minted based according to 2 wings per block. And our other contracts are fairly simple. There's nothing crazy going on that can be exploited, because if Uniswap hasn't been exploited or PancakeSwap hasn't been exploited, you won't see JetFuel being exploited.
Yeah, and one thing I kind of just want to touch on, I'm curious of your insight, is what is interesting to me about flash loans is they're all a little bit unique. So I don't know, you had like the value DeFi, and that was something like an extra line of code was in there that they messed up like a little bit. And then you had something like Burger Swap where Uniswap came out and said, oh, you guys removed this line of code. And then you have the other issue which is like the Oracle issue, which typically happens when you only have your asset on one market and like one Oracle there. So they're all kind of a little bit different. And that's kind of what I think is super interesting. Does that kind of make it a little bit harder to combat against these? Because it seems like they're all sort of unique in their own way.
Yeah. And obviously these projects have been built for safety, but they were exploited. So Our way of building is to look at the projects that are the safest, the most successful, and fork from them, and trying to keep that code base as close to them as possible, because we know that they've been battle tested. They've had millions or billions of dollars worth of transactions to try to keep it safe. And we also want to get everything audited too, because audits are definitely key in the space, because one line of code can basically ruin the project.
Yeah, that's what's nutty, but that's goes to show sometimes the simplicity in the project is almost what's best, right? Not getting too complicated with the code side.
Yeah, correct. And if you do get complicated, make sure you have an actual price feed to back it up. Because Bunny and I think Belt, they both didn't have the proper oracles set up, and they got exploited.
Gotcha. Yeah. And kind of just jumping back here, you kind of have this entire ecosystem start to have been built out now, and that's been tremendous. I think the launch of JetSwap came at a perfect timing with fuel emissions kind of tapering off and being done, because the ecosystem is still giving out an immense amount of rewards, even though fuel rewards will now be cut off. And I kind of like see fuel in the sense as almost like the main ecosystem token, just because you have kind of all these revenue streams with jets. Is there plans to kind of continue funneling a lot of this protocol revenue back into fuel, or is it a lot of it also going to be focused on kind of making sure FTS Wings price is also sustainable? Because I know that definitely needs a fine balance.
Yeah, it's interesting how we can balance all of our tokens, because now we have really 6 tokens. We have Fuel, Jets, GeForce, FTS, Wings, and Phi. So to kind of balance all that has been pretty interesting, working with our team. But Jets has always been the main priority in terms of like revenue generation. So Jets will still be getting revenue from pretty much everything. And we're also going to be working on features, like I said, about trying to burn as many wings as possible. And then once we roll out things like leverage as a service and fixed rate lending, and also the rate modification for FTS, that'll have deflationary aspects for FTS as well, which should help out the price action.
Can you get into that fixed rate lending? I'm not sure I've actually seen that on DeFi.
Yeah, Aave's rolled it out, I believe.
Okay.
Cream has maybe done it as well. But basically, all of the lending protocols now, they're based on money market algorithms. So as the borrowing ratio increases against the supply, the APRs will increase to incentivize more supply. And people might not like going in one day seeing their supply APY is 2%, the next day it's 0.5, the next day it's 5%. So they might want a more even return. So with fixed rate lending, you basically would bump up the rates on the borrowing side, and then you would just keep them static for that period of time. So that's something we're looking at now, and we're gonna hopefully be able to roll out next quarter.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. And I'm actually going to pull a question from chat here, because we really haven't touched on GeForce too much. So Sol Pintada is asking that they want to understand GeForce a bit better. So I guess you could just give a basic breakdown there.
Yeah, for sure. So we just migrated from GeForce V1 to GeForce V2. And the reason was because our automatic liquidity generation was based on Pancake V1. So GeForce is a passive yield and automatic liquidity generation token, similar to what you've seen with like Safer Moon or Safe Moon. And on every transaction, 3% will be taxed for passive yield. So it's basically what that means is if you're holding GeForce, you're going to be earning more GeForce as there's on-chain transactions. So that 3% will be split to everybody who owns GeForce. And we also implemented a 3% tax for automatic liquidity generation. So basically what that means is every time the holding contract for GeForce accumulates more than 100 GeForce, half of that GeForce will be sold, paired with BNB, and then added back to Liquidity. So there's always going to be liquidity there for GeForce holders, and GeForce holders will also be gaining more GeForce just by holding it, which is great. And so something that we're going to be rolling out fairly soon is the GeForce LP lottery. So users will be able to buy tickets to earn some of the automatic liquidity that's been generated. So our plan is to take half of that liquidity that's been generated, put it in the pot for the lottery, and then people can buy tickets to earn that. And then 40% of that will stay just to keep up that price floor, and then 10% of that will go back to us as the team to pay for expenses and things like that.
Gotcha. I like that, because that's kind of my issue with a lot of these auto liquidity generating tokens. Like, okay, you have this token and you have liquidity, but now what do I do besides the earning aspect of it? And I mean, everyone loves a good lottery. Like, you've seen how that's worked out for PancakeSwap. So I think continuing to add features like that, making it attractive versus just kind of like a meme coin that's pumping out marketing, is a good way to go with those types of passive yield generation tokens. Frictionless yield.
Yep, of course. And something we also added to for GeForce was we upgraded the whitelisting feature. So that means we can have GeForce v2 on exchanges. We can have GeForce v2 for staking individually. So we opened up a lot more, I guess you can say, possibilities for GeForce, since we can take away the taxes for some of those transactions.
Yeah, and someone actually just asked if they need to stake it or just hold it. And really, you can earn by holding, but if you stake it, it's just a dual earning asset. So
the only downside to staking GeForce is we blacklisted the earnings when you're staking GeForce for Wings. The contract logic got a little bit messy. So you can stake GeForce for Wings, but you don't earn more GeForce while you're staking for Wings. Okay. But if you put that GeForce in an LP and you use the LP to farm for Wings, you are earning GeForce in the LP.
Okay. Does the something I'm curious about, I'm assuming the APR, so like right now it's paying 266% for that pool. That does not take into account the GeForce, or does it?
It does not take into account the GeForce, nor does it take into account the trading fees you receive from supplying liquidity. Okay. So the actual return would be significantly higher than that 266% APR.
Is there a way to estimate the trading fees as part of your interest rate that you know of?
We've seen other people do it. I think we could probably roll out maybe like a 24-hour volume estimate and kind of factor that into the LP. So that's something we could definitely look at for the future.
Oh, that's neat. It's really so many ways to earn. I love it. I love the whole ecosystem. And someone else asked, two questions. One was future tokens that you'll be able to farm with in JetSwap, and also how many people are on your team now. So I think those would both be good ones.
Gotcha. So future tokens you can farm with, meaning like tokens like on the farm, like
I'm thinking like LPs. Yeah.
Yeah. So something we're working on right now, which we should be able to roll out Monday, is we're putting up a $500,000 Wings incentive for projects to add liquidity or move their liquidity to JetSwap. So we're offering grants to projects who migrate to us and want to support the JetSwap ecosystem. Cool. So projects will be able to earn up to a $10,000 grant of Wings by working with us, adding liquidity, and helping to promote JetSwap. So I think once we get that rolled out, we're going to see a pretty large number of projects wanting to take advantage of those incentives and coming to JetSwap.
I like that, yeah. And then something I'm super curious about, because I like exploring different other layer 1 networks and DeFi chains. Do you guys have plans? I know early on you guys wanted to potentially support Ethereum, maybe something like Solana, especially with things like Polygon now making Ethereum a lot more kind of attractive to individual users. Is something cross-chain you guys are looking at in the future?
Of course, yeah, of course. Cross-chain is definitely something we're looking at. I know Polygon has been blowing up lately. We had looked at a couple chains prior, but it seemed like some of them, they were kind of flash in the pans. Like they would get a ton of trading volume, ton of liquidity, and then people would just end up leaving them. So we didn't want to dedicate resources to building on something that wouldn't really pay off. So we focused just on building out JetFuel, JetSwap, and Fortress. But now that our ecosystem is more complete, we do have our eyes set on other chains. I think Polygon might be the first one we go to, but we're just gonna be watching them just to make sure everything stays up, basically.
Definitely. And that won't be too hard of a switch over, right? Because that's still going to be EVM compatible versus switching to something like Solana would be, I'd imagine, a nightmare as it's in a different language.
Yeah, it would be more difficult to go to Solana. I believe Solana is built under Rust, and our developers aren't too familiar with Rust. But
yeah, definitely.
But Polygon EVM compatible, it's pretty much the same thing as like BSC, so it shouldn't be too hard.
Yeah, and I think that's something to actually really look forward to. Just yesterday, actually, WaltSwap announced that they're going to be rolling out Polygon support, and that seemed to be news that the market liked. So it's definitely seems like expanding out just outside of DeFi, kind of getting as much users as you can. Seems like it's been paying off pretty well for some of these other projects. Notably, AutoFarm and Beefy have been killing the game on Polygon.
Yeah, good for them. I think AutoFarm is like 50 or like $100 million worth of TBL from Polygon. Beefy, not too sure, but I know they've been able to really corner the market. So good for them.
Yeah, and I'm just wanting to point out that I went to your pools on JetSwap, and this HPS pool is 1,200% right now. Did you guys just add that? I mean, that's nuts.
HPS. Oh yeah, for the pool. Yep.
Yeah.
Billionaire Happiness. We are very close to the team. We love Arnell. He had given us some HPS a couple months ago, actually, to implement to JetFuel, and we felt that now was the perfect time to roll that out. So that was a $50,000 gift to the community that they can stake wings for to earn HPS.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's sweet. We love our yield farming campaigns.
Yeah.
Right? And like you can earn watch on there also. So you got some real quick, and Safer Moon is your newest addition.
Safer Moon just came out today. So I believe that it starts. Actually looks like it just started like 20 blocks ago. So you can earn Safer Moon with your Wings token. It's paying 883% APR right now.
Yeah, so you guys rolled out some partnerships really quickly on here.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah, working hard.
And so I think the last time we talked on the podcast, you had added a couple developers. Has your team grown at all since then, or have you been able to maintain pretty well?
We have 8 core developers on the team, and they're all working full time. So we can make some pretty rapid developments here by utilizing our entire team. So we have 8 developers. I think we have 12 community managers now. We have a director of marketing who came on board. He's been killing it. So we actually were some of the top social signal Twitter pages last week, which was great to see.
Man, that's a big team. What'd you start with? One developer? 2 developers?
We started with a team of like 2 or 3 front end guys and 2 back end guys, and now we're up to 8. Yeah,
that's awesome. It's been fun watching. Yeah, I feel like it's rare that I actually talked to somebody when they were getting ready to launch, and now we've watched this whole thing continue. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. I remember you guys launched, and I was getting ready to launch JetFuel, and I think it was like your first week or two you guys were out, and I was so excited to get an article with you guys because you guys were like the only BSC news source, and now you've gone to what like 130,000 Twitter followers and a massive web page, and like you're like the go-to source for like BSC news. So I mean, you guys have been killing it.
It's nutty.
Yeah. That was amazing. And just to
Yeah.
tie back to that story, I remember the first time you tried to reach out to us, Cammy, he wasn't able to make it today. One of the other founders, he was like, "These JetFuel guys emailed me, but there's no way to respond to them."
Yeah.
Couldn't get back to us.
Yeah, something like our feedback form didn't have the slot for an email, so we just had this message from you guys for a few weeks, and we were like, "Well,
and it was just Miro. That's what it said. Miro.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wonder if anybody else watching has any more questions for us to ask Mr. Miro here. Let's see. My mic is right in front of my monitor. And I want to scan this one more time. So we talked about your plans for NFTs. Oh, does JetFuel have a YouTube channel?
No YouTube channel. We are limited to Telegram, Twitter, Discord, and we just got a Reddit going.
Ah.
We just got a Reddit going also.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So, but YouTube, I don't know. Maybe we can make some videos, maybe like some like how-to videos or guides or stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Man, so what are your thoughts on the current market right now? Just to kind of steer from JetFuel and just Binance Smart Chain and overall crypto market, because you've been around crypto for a while.
Yeah, since like 2013.
Yeah.
Every couple of years you have that massive pump and the massive dump. But that was when the market was a little bit more illiquid and a little bit more immature. Now with so much media attention and all these big firms jumping in the Bitcoin and a couple altcoins, I think these major coins are here to stay, and with BNB rising from 40 or 50 on the market cap to 3, I don't see Binance Smart Chain going away. Even if Ethereum fixes their gas cost issues, I think Binance Smart Chain is going to keep attracting users, keep attracting developers, and keep on growing. I mean, we're seeing projects roll out features at an incredible rate, and they're getting billions in TVL. So I don't see that going away, especially with the support from Binance. Yeah. So overall, my outlook is still very bullish.
Miro believes in the super cycle, and that's
super cycle.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think we're definitely going to get more of these 30, 40, maybe even 50% pullbacks, but I would not be surprised if we get a nice few years of a bull market. That would be super sick. And it's kind of a lot of things are lining up that way. And I think a big thing is the institutions.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, for sure. And we've been reaching out to a couple funds to try to gain some partnerships between these like VC funds or like hedge funds and the JetFuel ecosystem, because our goal is to make JetFuel, JetSwap, Fortress the most liquid and highest TVL protocol on BSC.
Well, what's your TVL right now across the board?
Across the board, let's see here. Looks like we got 94 million at JetFuel, and we got about 70 million at JetSwap. So we're sitting at about 164 million. Our next TVL goal is going to be 1 billion, which I think if we keep doing what we're doing, we should be there within a month or two.
And did you forget Fortress in your calculation?
No, Fortress is there. Well, so JetFuel's landing page has the little staking vaults lending on there too. Yeah, so okay. Fortress is at right about 60 million. The rest of JetFuel is about 30 something million, and then 70 something over at JetSwap.
Yeah, and I think your JetSwap vaults are going to attract a lot of TVL. That's going to be fun to watch.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think between the NFTs burning more wings, the auto compounding boosted vaults, partnerships with more projects, and our incentive campaign. I think JetSwap's going to really blow up.
Yeah. And so we got 2 more questions. Are you planning to partner with Cryptos?
We actually haven't talked to them before. I'm not opposed to it. So if they want to build some vaults around our strategies, maybe we can open up a farm for them. For sure. They're good.
Which token is your favorite? And I'm assuming they're asking in terms of your platform of tokens here.
That's like asking a parent who's your favorite kid.
Everyone has a favorite,
but you have one. So.
Yeah. I'm pretty diamond hands on all of my tokens. I think they're all great. They all have that potential to really increase in value. So I would say my favorite is my wallet that has all my tokens in it. So
that's your favorite wallet?
Yeah, that's my favorite wallet.
What is your opinion on Elon Musk?
Oh boy.
We're going there.
Yeah. I mean, I did order a Tesla.
I'll send it back.
Send it back. Gotta cancel it. So, it's crazy that a single dude can make a couple stupid tweets and it moves the market. I don't know why people are hanging on his every word, to pump Bitcoin or to pump Dogecoin. The guy's obviously a great businessman, doing the Boring Company, Tesla, SpaceX, that brain thing he's working on. But I think he should just focus on on his companies and not so much on the Bitcoin memes and breaking up with Bitcoin.
Yeah, he did break up with Bitcoin this morning. Maybe it's a good thing. That'd be fine.
I don't know if you guys saw that as well. He also pumped Cum Rocket. So that was an interesting turn of events. He loves his meme coins for some reason.
That today he pumped Cum Rocket?
Yeah, he tweeted Canada. He tweeted like North America spelling cum, and then he even responded to one of their tweets. Like if you check his replies, which that just kind of blows my mind. It also bothers me. Like he owns definitely less than 2% of Bitcoin supply, and the market just takes so much of his word, and he really doesn't. I mean, do too much. Like he doesn't. It's not like he owns Bitcoin, but it's just kind of interesting. Yeah, there you go. Canada, United States, Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that tweet.
I don't think he was trying to promote cummies. I think he was just
but he did end up responding to a tweet regarding it though. If you check his replies,
I saw that. Yeah, cummies pumped 100% immediately.
I think it's stupid is we're having Miro, you're here for us to have a serious conversation, and you're using the word cummies. So good times in crypto right now.
This is the most incredible industry to be in. I'll say that.
Yeah. That's good stuff. All right, man. Well, to wrap it up on cummies, we appreciate your time, man. Appreciate you coming on. As always, we'll keep in touch, and you'll come back, and we'll hear more about the 10 more things you develop between now and then.
Absolutely. And guys, thank you so much for having me back. I love, being on the podcast and being on this live stream. It's been great.
Awesome.
Definitely. Yeah. I've loved watching this ecosystem develop. We'll catch you guys on Monday. Maybe
Monday live, same time, right?
Yep. Get out of here, Miro. All right. Peace out, everyone.